Hello and welcome to the Homeowner Prep Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Alon, and this podcast was created to provide real-world advice and accountability for first-time homebuyers. We'll be interviewing industry experts, providing some how-tos, and talking with first-time homebuyers about their personal experiences. If that sounds interesting to you, please be sure to subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the little bell to be notified when new episodes release. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Homeowner Prep Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be actually diving into some of the regrets, if you would, some of the things that buyers wish they knew before they actually became homeowners, first-time homeowners specifically, some of the things that you may not expect or you may not understand. And so some of the issues that we're going to address today can be addressed ahead of time. And it's very important that as we talk about some of these things, there's a lot of issues that can come up as a first-time home buyer. But when you have the right team, when you have the right lender, the right real estate agent, and your team is working on your behalf, a lot of these issues can be addressed before you actually become a homeowner and sign on the dotted line, if you would. And so these are some of the regrets, some of the issues that came up that first-time home buyers wish they would have known ahead of time. And so we're going to just dive into a couple of these. Obviously, there are more out there. If you have questions, if there's things that you don't quite understand about just even taking the first step and purchasing your first home, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to answer any questions that you have. The first thing, though, that I want to address is the concept of buying a house and not having enough money put away. So a lot of folks who complain about, hey, this is a real issue. I bought a home and I wasn't expecting the amount of money that it was going to take in order to finish the home buying process. So obviously a lot of people know about the down payment. Okay, if I'm buying FHA, traditional loan program, it's going to be a 3.5% down on whatever my purchase price is. However, there's also closing costs. And in an earlier episode, we did discuss closing costs, but your closing costs are going to be lender fees. They're going to be, escrow fees. So you use an escrow here in California. In different states, you might use an attorney. So you might have attorney fees to pay. There's going to be title fees. So a title on a property you need to search that title. You need to figure out, do the proper owners, are they the ones that are actually selling the home? Are there any liens against the home? And so there's going to be a title search. So your title, escrow, closing costs, lender fees, things of that nature, those can add up. I tend to tell my clients, expect about 2 to 2.5% of your purchase price to be just closing costs. So again, you have 3.5% on your down payment. And if you save another 2 to 2.5% for your closing costs, you'll be in a much better position than trying to scramble to come up with money from paychecks and things of that nature and trying to save while you're in escrow. A lot of times these fees, these funds need to actually be sourced. They need to be what's called seasoned. So they need to be in your bank account for at least 2 months. And so you can't really scramble at the deadline to try to come up with these fees. So again, the issue, the conflict that a lot of first-time homebuyers have is, I knew about my down payment, but I didn't know about all these closing costs. And so I just want to prepare you for that and let you know that, as you're saving money, as you're getting ready to buy a home, you're putting money away, think about that. Think about not only the down payment, but also the closing costs. Another thing that is going to come up, as an issue that a lot of first-time home buyers had is that, hey, I didn't do all the inspections that I needed to do. Come to find out there were issues here. There were issues with the roof, termite issues, whatever the case may be. So my advice to you to make sure that you don't kind of fall into that trap is to get all of your inspections done while you're in escrow. Typically, on a typical 30-day escrow, you're going to have a 17-day window of time from the time that it gets accepted until the end of that 17 days to do all your due diligence. Do all of your inspections, have, licensed people come out and check on the property. I know it can be very tempting to just have a friend or a family member. I've had people bring their dad out, and just kind of check on the property for them. Get licensed individuals. It's going to help you. The biggest thing is liability. right? So if there's an issue and you actually had an inspection done, say a termite inspection, and then you bought the property, you move in and come to find out there were issues that were overlooked by the termite inspector, now they're on the hook for those. As opposed to, your dad was looking at something and now, you're not going to take your dad to court. You're not going to go back to your dad and ruin the relationship because he missed something in the inspection. So, you really want to get inspections done ahead of time. Again, you have a 17-day window on a traditional escrow process to do all your due diligence. So the basic inspections that you're going to need to do: a home inspection. You should do a termite inspection, especially depending on the area. If you're in an area where it's a warmer tropical weather, you definitely want to get your termite inspection done. You should have a roof inspection done. Even if the sellers say, hey, we just put a brand new roof on, your home inspector will get up there on the roof and check for any issues that they can see. But an actual roof inspection is going to be worth the price, because if a roof leaks, that becomes a really big issue and very expensive. So you want to make sure that your roof is in good shape. Have your appliances looked at by your home inspector as well. Oftentimes this is overlooked. Hey, did you look at the AC? Is the refrigerator in good shape? And as you do all of these inspections, you want to make sure that you're getting reports back that you can document and keep those on file. So if you ever need to reference back to them, if an issue ever comes up that inspector should have found, it's easy for you to go back and find those issues and then reach back out to the companies that actually did the inspections. One way to kind of protect yourself or take that a step further is to get a 1-year home warranty. When you buy a house, get a warranty. It's not going to cover everything, but it will cover the majority of the issues that you face. I've had clients reach back out within the first year of buying a home, and they've had issues that have come up. And they reach out to me and they say, hey, did we get a home warranty? Of course. Yes, we have a home warranty. Is this covered? I'll go through the warranty. I have a copy of it as well. I'll go through the file, look at it, say, yes, that is covered. Here's the phone number to reach out to, call the company and get somebody out there. And so it's just an added protection. Yes, you're going to do your inspections, but you want to make sure that you have at least a 1-year home warranty. If you're in a very tight market, say even like right now, there's a tight seller's market. A lot of sellers aren't willing to pay for a 1-year home warranty. So you should spend the money to do it yourself. It's $500-$600 in some places. If you get a condo, it might be even less, but it's worth it. Again, having that added protection, that added insurance, if you would, is going to give you some peace of mind so that you understand that, yes, I've done all my inspections by licensed individuals, licensed and reputable companies, and I also have a 1-year home warranty for additional protection. And you can always renew it every single year, so that way you're ready for it. Home repairs are going to come. This is one of the things that, a lot of first-time home buyers aren't expecting, especially if you're coming from renting for a number of years, where you can just call the landlord, things come up, you can get it fixed, but home repairs will come. And so, just be in expectation of things that might go wrong. Even if you're buying new construction, we did an episode that compared, the pros and cons of buying new construction. And one of the things that I always tell clients is that, hey, even though we're buying new, we're going to need to do our thorough inspections because things can still go wrong in a new construction home. So it's important that you understand that as things come up, who's responsible? What protection do I have? If it's a new construction, a lot of times the builder's responsible for the first year. If it's a resale property, then, you have a home warranty there to protect you for the first year. So, you just want to have some protections in place because things will come up. As a homeowner, you're now responsible for those. Another item that has come up when talking to first-time home buyers is that they get the concept from the HGTV and some of the other real estate related shows that they want to do some renovations. They come into a home, maybe it's not the perfect home, but hey, it checks off a lot of things, but maybe they want to redo the kitchen once they move in. One of the things I can say is when you do renovations, they are not as easy as they look on TV. Trust me. Renovating a kitchen is tough. We've lived through it. And when you start to figure out, cooking dinner every night and the amount of dust that's going to be around the house and, all these different things, not to mention, are you going to have a reputable contractor who's licensed, dependable, will get the job done versus are you going to try to do it yourself? So think about that. When you're doing renovations, they are harder than you think. Unless you're a skilled tradesman, handyman, if you're a licensed contractor, typically you're going to want to reach out to a professional to help you in that process. One of the things to understand, and this is one of the complaints about renovations, is that they tend to go over budget and they last a lot longer than you think. So expect the schedule to be pushed out, expect to go over budget, set some cushion in your budget so that you're ready for that. Because I don't want you to be, surprised and then have to go take out a credit card or try to cover the additional costs, without the money in the bank. Try your best to cover it with cash that you have on hand. So if you're planning to do a renovation, especially like a kitchen or a bathroom, just plan for it to go maybe 10 to 20% over budget. Plan for it to last maybe, 1 or 2 extra weeks. And that way you're setting yourself up. If you have a great contractor and they're on time and on budget, that is a diamond in the rough, and you definitely want to make sure that you lean into that person, have them do future projects, refer them out, do them a favor. When you have somebody who's dependable like that, help them out and let other folks know, because not all contractors are created equally, if you would. So, if you're going to do a renovation project, just know, it's going to be tougher than it looks on TV. So just come understanding that, hey, this is going to happen. We're going to get the kitchen done, but it will impact our lives a little bit. Sometimes you're forced to do renovations. Let's say you have mold or you have water leaks or things of that nature. There's going to be a time where you're going to say, okay, well, I'm now in a position where maybe the insurance is covering the renovations, but it's still going to have an impact on life as you know it. Day to day, if you have kids, things of that nature. And so just be prepared for that. It's not as easy as it seems on TV. The biggest thing I think you have to understand as a first-time home buyer is that you should have a team in place, experienced agents, experienced lender, licensed contractors and inspectors that can help you prepare and get ahead of this. Surprise is always going to make things harder, but if you're prepared for, maybe renovations going beyond budget, or if you're prepared for home repairs that are going to arise, or you did all your inspections and you're prepared for these things, it makes it a little less complicated. You now know and you're expecting things that can happen as a homeowner. You weigh the pros and cons. There's a lot more pros to being a homeowner than cons. Yes, you can't depend on the landlord to just come out and fix your garbage disposal, and you have to do it yourself or have a contractor come out and do it. But at the end of the day, you've purchased an asset. You should congratulate yourself on the fact that you're now a homeowner and take pride in a home ownership. Going back to renovations, there are times where homeowners do renovations and they don't do it up to par, up to the high standard of quality. And then when they go to sell their property, now they're facing issues. Now there's work that needs to be redone, or they're getting lower offers because people are seeing that the craftsmanship is not as good. So be thinking about that when you're comparing renovations. If you're going to use a contractor, try to do it yourself. Think about the end game. Am I going to do this level of work as good as a licensed individual, so that way when you're thinking about selling your place down the road, you're not having to go back and redo the work. Those are just a couple of the issues. Obviously, like I said, things come up. I think the biggest part of this process for first-time home buyers, which really stresses them out and gives them more anxiety, is just not knowing what to expect. So if you're in the process of thinking about, hey, I've been renting long, I need to now be a homeowner, but I don't know, what that process is going to entail, reach out to us. We'd love to connect with you, give you some answers, let you know exactly what to expect, and have a head start on some of these things, so that way you're not surprised. You can always reach out to us on any of the social media platforms. You want to send us a message at Homeowner Prep on Instagram, where you can reach us. And then, as always, you can always leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on any of the podcast channels, you can drop a comment in there. We'll be sure to respond to you. I hope that you got some great content from today's episode. Don't be surprised when you're a new homeowner and these issues arise. we're going to prepare you for these things. So definitely reach out to us. We'd love to help you. If you have any questions, reach out. We hope to provide you with some more great content next week as you tune in. And until then, be blessed. I hope you got some value from today's episode. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing this show, be sure to share it with them. And if you're listening to the podcast, we'd love for you to drop us a review. We'd also love to hear from you if you have any questions. So reach out to us on Instagram at Homeowner Prep. Who knows? We may read your review and answer your question on one of our future shows.